So you want to photograph weddings? Let's talk about the gear that you need to have before you shoot your very first wedding. Now, I don't have to tell you how important weddings are. You cannot mess this up. And so everything that we're going to be talking about today, you need to have backups for. You need to buy at least 2, if not 3, of everything that we're talking about, just in case something breaks or something gets stolen while you're shooting. You need to have a plan for that. Let's first talk about camera bodies. And you might think that I'm going to tell you to go out and you have to spend thousands of dollars on the newest full frame digital camera, and that is not true at all. I started shooting weddings over 20 years ago. Full frame digital cameras weren't even a thing back then, and I shot plenty of great shots at just 6 megapixels on a crop sensor camera that had horrendous ISO performance. So it is possible to shoot a wedding on literally any piece of gear. That being said, modern cameras are exponentially better than those old cameras I used to shoot on. And once you experience the incredible ISO performance in low light and the unbelievable autofocus that these new cameras have, you probably won't want to be shooting on a 5 or 10-year-old camera. If you can afford it, I would recommend you purchase a full frame digital camera. This is going to give you usually more megapixels and better ISO performance. If you want to save some money, I don't think there's any problem buying a used body online. And remember, we need backups of everything. And I personally like having multiple identical camera bodies when I'm shooting weddings, each one with a different lens on it, so I'm not having to change lenses. And all of the buttons and settings are going to be the same on each one of my cameras. I can pick up any camera and they all work exactly the same. One other thing to consider is that most entry-level cameras are not weather sealed, and once you move up to the higher quality pro level cameras, they are. And you would be surprised how often you're shooting weddings in the rain. So I like knowing that my cameras can handle those types of environments. Now let's talk about lenses, and this could be just as important, if not more important, than the camera bodies. There's no doubt you could get away with shooting any wedding with any lens, but in my opinion, the most important lens is probably a standard zoom lens. I'm going to suggest something like the 24-70 2.8 lens. Now, these lenses are incredibly expensive. In some cases, you'll spend more money for this lens than you will the camera itself. But what this lens is going to get you is the most important zoom range. You can zoom out and shoot big groups. You can zoom in and get tight portraits, and you can do it all at a shallow depth of field at f2.8. Yes, you could save thousands of dollars by using a kit lens instead, but these lenses have much slower, less accurate autofocus. The images themselves don't look nearly as sharp. You won't get anything close to the same shallow depth of field. And when it comes to weather sealing, these pro lenses can survive the rain and the kit lenses will not. Now, like I said, you could get away with shooting an entire wedding with just this lens, but we need backups, right? What happens if something breaks while we're shooting? And I don't think there's really much of a reason to have duplicates of the exact same lens. So the next lens that I would personally choose would be something like a 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8. Again, this lens can be quite expensive, but the shots that come out of this lens are always my favorite of the entire day. This lens allows me to stand back way out of the way. Nobody even knows I'm there. And when I'm taking posed portraits, I also prefer the look of standing back and zooming in. Now, depending on the way you shoot, the next lens that you purchase might be an ultra wide angle lens, like a 12 to 24 millimeter lens. I personally have never been a huge fan of ultra wide angle lenses, especially of people. If you're looking to save some money, I would highly suggest checking out lenses by other third-party manufacturers like Tamron or Sigma. They make incredible lenses at a fraction of the price. And one lens that I'm a huge fan of is the Tamron 35 to 150 millimeter lens. This is kind of the sweet spot for me that falls in between those first 2 lenses that I recommended. The build quality and image quality out of this lens is fantastic, and it's much cheaper than the other 2 lenses. Now, obviously, you're going to need memory cards as well. I would highly suggest you buy cameras that have dual memory card slots, and I would suggest you use them. The other thing to consider is that fake memory cards are a massive issue today. Never buy memory cards off of a website like Amazon, because you could be sold a fake memory card, and figuring out that they're fake may not happen until you've lost all of your files. Always buy memory cards locally at a trustworthy store like Best Buy, or go online to a website like B&H and get your memory cards where you are guaranteed that they will be real. As wedding photographers, we need to be prepared for any lighting environment. And although all of us would prefer to shoot in natural light all the time, sometimes you are shooting in incredibly dark situations and you need that extra flash. I'm personally a fan of Profoto lights. I like their studio battery-powered strobes, and they also sell on-camera flashes as well, but they are incredibly expensive. A couple of years ago, I did a very deep dive review comparison between all the different flash manufacturers, and my favorite one in that test actually ended up being one of the cheapest, which was Godox. And the cool thing about Godox is that they make flashes for every major camera brand. Now, of course, you're going to need to put your camera gear somewhere as well, and you need to figure out what type of camera bag person you are. Do you like backpacks, roller bags? Do you like them soft or hard? When I was shooting weddings, I usually had all of my cameras and lenses in a soft backpack that I could keep very close to me all the time. And then I had all of my larger studio lights in a hard Pelican case that I could stand on in case I needed to get a little extra reach. If you're on the fence, Tenba currently makes some very tough roller bags that you can stand on, and they also have optional shoulder straps if you want to wear it like a backpack. Now, I've shot a ton of weddings over the years, and luckily nobody has ever touched my camera bags or my cameras, thank goodness. But I have had a few friends who've had gear stolen while they were shooting. Most wedding photographers show up with so much gear that it's impossible to have it with you right next to you all the time. For this reason, I highly suggest you put trackers in at least your camera bags, but I would highly suggest you put trackers on your cameras as well. We've got a few options for Apple AirTags that can either attach to the camera strap on cameras, they can attach to the tripod plate on the bottoms of cameras, and there are different containers that you can put them in to kind of mask what they are that you can put inside your camera bags as well. Well guys, that's my list of the most important things that every wedding photographer needs. Of course, you could add many items to this list. Some photographers like shooting with a tripod or a light stand or with light modifiers, or they like shooting ring shots with a macro lens, but these are the most important things that I believe every wedding photographer really needs to have. And of course, after the wedding, you have to edit every single shot. You could do it the old-fashioned way manually, and it could take weeks for you to edit and retouch every single file, or you could use software like Aftershoot, which can cull, edit, and retouch all of your images in under 1 hour. I know it sounds too good to be true, but you can try it right now for free in the link below.